Hello, it is Wednesday, October 12th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Wednesday puzzle today, so a mid-difficulty, mid-week edition of the crossword, mid-challenge perhaps. And this midweek, mid-challenge, mid-difficulty edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Laura Sexton, Victoria Rojishka, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Showmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support in bringing us this edition of the Daily Solve. I do very much appreciate that. And if you'd like to become a benefactor and get the Daily Solve, Let's Check the Crosses mug, like those 5, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve. But of course, if you become a Patreon patron at any level, you can get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. Thank you to everybody who has become a patron at any level. I do very much appreciate that. It helps keep this channel sustainable. And do subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've been enjoying it. Maybe tell a friend as well. And if you're interested in cryptic crosswords, check out the video I put up on Sunday in which I solved a Sunday Times cryptic crossword with its constructor, Dean Mayer, aka Anax. So that's a good time. And let's get on to the puzzle. Let's get on to today's puzzle. This is another one of those days in which I have limited time, so I'm going to attempt to do this without being too wasteful. So this is a Wednesday crossword constructed by Drew Schmenner. This is just a handful of puzzles for Drew Schmenner, so 2 or 3, and edited, as always, by Will Shorts. And let's start solving. All right, vegetable rich in vitamin K, appropriately would be kale, appropriate to the letter K, I suppose. And to crush it is to kill it. So if you did very well on, I don't know, an exam or something, you killed it, you crushed it. Fufaraz. I think Fufaraz it was a whole ado, it was a whole thing, it was a whole production. Like some PG-13 language. Lewd, maybe? In other words, it's not sort of deeply profane, but it's a little bit lewd. It's PG-13. This refers to parental guidance age 13 film ratings in the United States. So inspiration for some psychedelic music could be LSD, the psychotropic drug. And here we have, I have no blank. I have no idea, you might say. Sometimes that is certainly how I feel solving the crossword. Home of the body's vestibular system. Vestibular system, that's a very good word. The ear, it must be. I don't think I knew that. The vestibular system, but it must be in one's ear. So here we have top 10 funk hit from War with an iconic bass line. That would be the indeed extremely iconic song Low Rider. And that's being pointed to by our revealer in 60 across, which means it must be one of the theme answers. So here we have a modern music staple that's a punny description of 17, 24, 38, and 48 across. Is it a bass drop? A bass drop is very common in modern, especially modern electronic music or music with electronic elements. And that would sort of fit low rider in the sense of bass corresponds to low and drop maybe corresponds to low. I don't know. Not sure. This might be wrong. I realized it seemed better until I started to explain it, which is often how things work. Cable option for cinephiles. I don't think this is right. I don't know. Is it TCM, Turner Classic Movies, maybe, which is a cable channel in the United States that shows classic movies, as you might expect. People that built the Temple of Kukulkan. I don't know. Maybe this is wrong. What's the other one of these? There's another one of these. I don't know. Docking spot, a pier or a moor. You could dock. Oh, those both end in R, which doesn't look very good for this. Printer toner color. So printer toner tends to, the ink that printers use tends to be CMYK color system, which is cyan, yellow, magenta, and K for black, because B sort of suggests blue, as in RGB, red, green, blue. So this would be cyan. So then what is this? AMC, American Movie Classics or something? Docking spot. I don't know. Singer born. Oh boy, this is an Irish name that I am going to completely fail to pronounce. Ethnini Brian. I mean, this is obviously a complete disaster. I'm not even going to seriously attempt it because I don't know enough about Irish pronunciation. But it's probably Enya in 4 letters ending with an A. That's my suspicion. Many a diploma singer. A diploma singer. What on earth? Oh, signer, diploma signer. I'm sorry. That was ridiculous. A dean, maybe. A dean of a university. It's much more likely. Proof finale in brief. QED. You could say QED. Quod erat demonstrandum. So, that's been demonstrated. So you've proven the thing you were trying to prove in QED. There's the proof. Docking spot. Oh, a key. There we go. So I have thought of a few synonyms for this thing, but not enough of them. Okay, so there's our docking spot, where a boat might dock. And then, the Maya. Okay, that's what I would have guessed seeing this, which is why I was suspicious about my TCM. Oh, is it not TCM? Is it? Maybe it is AMC. I don't know. Maybe it's TMC. Is it actually TMC? Is it Turner Movie Classics? I thought it was TCM. Maybe this is an A. Sorry, this is not interesting. What can I do? Modern music staple. Maybe it is the T. Okay, it is the T. I was wrong I just misremembered the name of the network, I suppose. So this is Auto-Tune. So a punny description, lowrider, Auto-Tune. Why is that? What that is? A punny description of lowrider. Oh, so an auto. So the lowrider in this case is like a hot rod that's really, the wheelbase or whatever is very low. It's not the right word. Wheelbase is length or width, I think. But the car's been lowered. Auto-tune, lowrider tune. Oh, because it's a song. Right, sorry, I kept thinking of the film, even though I was thinking of Easy Rider or something. I was completely confused. Sorry, I was completely confusing this. It's the song. It's a song about a car. That's all it is. It's extremely straightforward. I'm sorry. I said I was going to move through this quickly today, and I'm doing quite the opposite. I need to get going. Waking announcement. I'm up. I'm awake. I'm up, you might say. Blank Kondo, organizing guru. Marie Kondo, the Spark Joy sort of guidance person. Super cool individual. I don't know. Super cool individual. Smartphone notification. An alert. Your phone might alert you. Turkey is on top of this. Does this mean, I wonder if this means the country maybe? Is this, wonder if it's some sort of misdirection? What about this? Undergrad conferrals for short. Could be Bachelor of Arts degrees. That seems likely to me. Could be Bachelor of Science, but of course that doesn't fit alert. Super cool individual. Oh, a badass. Look at that. And gymnast Reisman. Ali Reisman. That sort of sounds vaguely familiar and looks plausible. Turkey is on top of the... Oh, no. Ali with a Y. I was thinking Ali with an I, but Ali with a Y because Turkey is on top of Syria. So there we go. Indeed, it was the country rather than the bird. Okay. Tempt. You can... in something. You can entice somebody to do something, tempt them. So classic Wilson Pickett cover. Mustang Sally, am I remembering that correctly? Let's check the M is certainly correct, but we'll just march through the crosses. Sport with cage matches in brief. Oh, does MMA, mixed martial arts, does that have cage matches? It must. So there's that. And then Lady Gaga, probably, the performer, and songwriter and singer. Get a round of punch. To spar against an opponent, to have a punch up. Some damning evidence. Could be tapes, maybe, as in, I don't know, for instance, the Watergate scandal. And caterpillars and such are larvae. Caterpillars are a larval form, so larvae would be the plural of larva. And serum vessel could be a vial, maybe. You could have serum in a vial in a laboratory or a hospital setting. Palace resident, what? You're joking, right? Seriously, you might say, omitting the vowels because, like me, you're busy and have things to do and need to move on, and who has time to type vowels into a phone? Sticks around a classroom. Sticks, chalk sticks, pencils, sticks. What kind of sticks would be in a classroom? The question mark here after classroom makes it seem like this is some sort of pun, which is why I'm wondering about literal sticks, and yet I can't seem to think of any. Easels? I don't know. Captivate. I don't know either. Initial attempts. Boy, this isn't going well in this little corner up here. Expert with flags, perhaps. Expert with flags. Who uses flags? I don't know. Someone who sort of does naval signing, the semaphore. Blank mas. Uno mas? One more in Spanish? Does that help anything? Many messages in spam folders. Don't know about that either. This is not great. Sticks around a classroom. Oh, rulers, as in straight edges, that kind of ruler. So expert with flags, perhaps. Oh, I don't know. Many messages. Oh, email. Many messages in spam folders. Email scams. There we go. Palace resident. Oh, a royal. Right. I was thinking of regal and royal as adjectives, but I thought, oh, those aren't nouns. But royal is a noun. You can have a royal, a member of a royal family. So to captivate someone is to enamor them, to sort of attract and entrance them. And then an initial attempts are forays. You could make a foray into crossword solving, for instance. So an expert with flags perhaps is a ref. Right. Okay. So a referee of a match might have flags to indicate things. Okay, cartoon collectible could be a cell. So traditionally, 2D animation was animated on cells. So one of those from a particular film might be a collectible object. What XXX might represent in comics? Ale, sometimes? I mean, alcoholic drinks are often represented by a jug with 3 X's on it. Would ale work? Friend of Telly and Zoe. Do not recognize those names at all. Telly and Zoe. No clue. Name hidden in paleontology, Leon. Straightforward enough. That's just a gimme. We can simply read the name Leon inside of the word paleontology. Okay. Water balloons on a hot day say they might be ammo in a water balloon fight. Oh, Elmo? Telly and Zoe must be Muppets from Sesame Street. I don't recognize those names. I'm sorry. But they must be friends of Elmo on Sesame Street. That must be it. Okay, wood carving tool could be an odds, and seeks at an auction could be bids on. There we go. Blank the Wild, 2007 film. Into the Wild, right? Yeah, that was a film. And water balloon sound. A burst. Seems plausible. Get out of here. Maybe it's splat. I think that's better because that represents sort of the sound itself, whereas a burst is kind of the category of sound. It's describing the sound rather than being the sound, if you see what I mean. It's not onomatopoeic, which splat sort of is. Get out of here. Beat it. There we go. Splat is better. Winter hours in Boston are Eastern Standard Time. The time zone in Boston, Massachusetts, in the U.S. Okay, obscures. If you obscure something, do you blur it, maybe? Blurs, does that work? Prefix with city or state. Tri-state or tri-city to refer to areas in which you have kind of a combined metropolitan area of those things. A sudden wave could be a spate, so a sudden spate of enthusiasm or something like that, a sudden wave of enthusiasm. So obscure sort of does look like blurs. This looks like Mercedes-Benz to me. Janis Joplin's final recording, which had an anti-consumerism message. All right, there we go. So let's just check the crosses on that. Minimum wage employment, informally. Minimum wage, oh, a McJob, people sometimes call that, because sometimes people associate being paid minimum wage with working a job at McDonald's. Kagan of the Supreme Court is Elena Kagan. Is it an A or an E? I think it's an E. Let's check the crosses, though. Yeah. Rich, fashionable sorts are the jet set, so collectively. So this is one of those clues where you'd see it and you might think, oh, it's plural. There will be an S at the end. But no, in fact, not in this case, because we have the collective noun jet set referring to the sorts. Okay. If a London cab is available as a London cab, online maybe, if you have a sort of, if it's a, you've got a cab line. I wonder if that's what it's referring to. Before, oh no, I guess not. So here we have before poetically is ere. Before, it's just a poetic way of saying before, ere long, before long. And actor Danson is Ted Danson. Oh, I see. On hire. So I was thinking available as in sort of available there where you are, but this means available as in available in a broader sense, to be employed. Moistened in a way is basted, maybe, as in turkey. Regularly moisten the whatever it is you're basting. Okay, doesn't just pass the test, aces it. And then I have no clue. Again, sometimes how I feel solving the crossword. Unpleasant realities are something truths. Necessary truths, or I don't know, evil truths is not correct. That's another phrase. Why can't I think of what this is? I can't. Bad streaks are slumps. You could be in a bit of a slump, a bad streak. Garment traditionally woven from white wool. No, I don't know. That's interesting. Right now could be stat, maybe. Do it as soon as possible. Do it quickly. And bonkers could be loco, maybe, from the Spanish. And then, a toga, garment traditionally woven from white wool. That makes sense. They do seem to be white generally. Sports trainers, and then I guess not died. Sports trainers' concern for short is, ACL, the anterior cruciate ligament, as I've been informed by commenters on this crossword. Oh, ugly truths are unpleasant realities. Of course, why didn't I think of that? And a small dog is a toy, so various breeds of dogs referred to as toy breeds, very small. Close chica, so it could be your amiga, feminine form of friend in Spanish. So fair amount of Spanish in today's puzzle. Catfish error. Not really sure. This must have been is it a TV program? I remember when catfish became a phrase everybody started saying, and it was from a particular film or TV show. I can't even remember. I don't think I ever saw it. Some stage whispers are asides. So right, theatrically, when a character sort of says something in stage whisper, they make an aside, and it's meant for the audience to hear, but not the other characters in the scene. Wore out. I'm not sure. Tired, but that doesn't work. You got me this time. And Tracy Chapman hit with the line, I had a feeling I could be someone. I don't know. I mean, we already have the car in here, so we're not going to get any more help from the theme, I don't think, and I don't think I know this song. Or maybe I do, but I just don't know it well enough to have it come to mind. Okay, well, now I'm going to have to actually solve the puzzle. So this could be prefix, which is a French term for fixed price, as you might imagine. And that's when you have a sort of fixed menu with a single price and either a set menu or a few options from which you can choose, but not the full a la carte menu. Okay. I don't know. What is this? Fish car, fist car, fast car, fast car? That's better than fish or fist. Catfish error. Boy, I do not have a clue about this one. MT. No idea. Maybe it's not a fast car. Gray-haired say, oh, that could be aged. And then wore out is taxed. Right, he wore you out, he taxed you. That works. And you got me this time. I give, oh, MTV. That does make sense. And there we go. All right, that was the Wednesday puzzle. That came together in a reasonable amount of time. So let's just look at our theme. We have our clever auto theme, auto tune. It certainly wasn't an auto theme. We did have to solve it, but an auto tune theme. So we had our songs, our auto tunes: Low Rider, Mustang Sally, Fast Car, and Mercedes Benz. That's pretty good, pretty good. And as in, I think, the most tidily constructed themes, they are symmetrically disposed. So if we were to rotate this grid 180 degrees, the theme and revealer answers would be in the same exact positions. And so we had, yes, Low Rider by War, Wilson Pickett's Mustang Sally, Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, and finally Mercedes Benz by the late Janis Joplin. And those are our auto tunes. There we have it. And good, a nice, I think, relatively accessible Wednesday puzzle. Otherwise, I did have a few bits where I was held up in this corner, a little bit in the middle of the grid, and a little bit actually in the opposite corner. So this sort of diagonal here maybe slowed me up slightly. And but let me know how you fared. Let me know how you fared with these auto tunes. That's a nice, clever little. It's nice to do that. Auto tune is itself, a music term, because you could have a phrase like auto tune and it refers to something totally different. Like, I was going to say tuning up a car or something, and that actually would be equally relevant. But you know what I mean, if it referred to something else, tuning medical instruments or something, I don't know. But it's nice that it actually, both the kind of punny meaning and the surface read are relevant to the theme. Although I doubt any of these songs used auto tune. All right, and there we have it. That was the Wednesday puzzle for today by Drew Schmenner. And let's move on to just do, I think, maybe only 2 things to mention from yesterday's puzzle, one of which was not a correction. It was just a really interesting bit of context. So Monkey Flower points out, I think it's worth highlighting that Ailey Yoshida, the constructor of this puzzle, yesterday's puzzle, is only 16 years old, making her the youngest female New York Times constructor ever. Her age also probably explains the debut of Yeeted in the puzzle. You were right that Yeet was recently in the mini puzzle. I didn't love this puzzle, but coming from a 16-year-old first-time constructor, I think it's amazing. I look forward to seeing more puzzles from her in the future. And Jacques C.A. pointed out, also lots of clues referring to the life of a young person. Pacer test, PTA, student drivers. Totally reflects the goals of the Crossword diversity program. So Ailey Yoshida must have come through. There's a program that I think is run online that aims to get a kind of more diverse group of constructors into the puzzle, and she must have been part of that. And yeah, that's a really good point about these sort of student-oriented, clues that would be relevant to younger people. That's a very interesting point. And speaking of one of those, actually, that I didn't know as a not young person, I suppose, Thor Christensen points out, you never went back to 9 down. Pacer. The Pacer test, also known as the beep test, is a running test that is given to U.S. school kids from kindergarten to 12th grade. It entails running back and forth 2 lines a distance of 20 meters. Each time you successfully reach the line before the beep, your score goes up by 1. After a certain number of beeps pass, the time between beeps gets shorter, starting at 9 seconds between beeps and eventually getting down to just under 4 seconds. Theoretically, if one were to complete the entire test, it would amount to running just under 5 kilometers and would take about 22 minutes. All right, that does not sound familiar to me at all. I have no memory of that whatsoever. So the Pacer test, or the beep test, that was new to me. There we go. And that's all I had from yesterday's puzzle. So thank you so much for joining me for today's crossword. I hope you'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday puzzle, where we will step up the theme complexity. At least that's the traditional dynamic on Thursdays. So join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.